Welcome everybody to NEGU TV, Chatting with Cade. We're so excited today that we have the one and only Yogi Roth with us today. Thank you, Yogi, for joining us on Chatting with Cade.
Thank you. It's been an honor to just be in your guys' company at any point, but let alone this one. I've watched this trajectory of these conversations, and I don't think I'll give all the insight like Sam Darnold did I saw in the previous episode, but I will try to bring it, Cade, just like I know you and everybody at NEGU does.
Well, we're just so excited for you to be on, and we want to thank you so much for everything that you do for kids fighting cancer. No matter if it's back at part of Elite 11 or a couple years ago when we were out in Vegas and you brought the Pac-12 mascots out to the hospital to deliver joy jars. You've always been there for us, and we're just super grateful for you, bud.
Well, it's a two-way street. I mean, I think that, you know, the phrase, it's an old adage, right? But be the change you want to see. And the minute I got exposed to you, Erik, specifically, and what you're about and the mission and your family, and then getting to meet people like Cade, I'm the one that gets inspired, and you have to do your part if you want to be a part of a mission like this that is, it stands for much more than, I think, just kids competing, right? It stands for parents competing and families competing and people in this thing together. And I learned more from you and Cade's dad in terms of me being a dad than I ever could have imagined. So I don't know how I could even repay you guys for exposing yourselves to me.
Oh, well, thank you so much for the kind words. Cade, you ready, bud?
Yeah.
All right, let's start chatting with Yogi.
So, thank you for being here. Football has been a big part of your life. You played football, you coached football, you're a commentator. What's so important about each one of those roles in football?
Really good question. Playing, I think, you know, when you're in it, Cade, the biggest part of, I think, playing is recognizing that you're just a part of the team. You know, I think football still to this day is the greatest team sport in planet Earth. And no offense to the other amazing sports that exist all over the world, but every snap you're accountable. And I think there's just something beautiful about that. And you're never necessarily the guy that can change the game. You know, my roommate in college was Larry Fitzgerald, best receiver you could argue of all time, or at least of our generation. But if our left tackle didn't block, Dwight Freeney, we couldn't complete the ball to him because we couldn't protect. So I think that's what I learned in that regard. I think as a broadcaster and a commentator, what I've learned really early is that my job is to celebrate the game and coach the viewer. And those are the last two things I tell myself before every game. And I've done it for almost 15 years now. And I've been in this game for, this is my 20th season being around college football, that it's not about me and how sweet my tie might be or what my hair looks like or what catchphrase. Like, it's about celebrating the game, which means the people that play it, and then coaching up my mom or coaching up you or coaching up people that are watching. And I take a lot of pride in that. And, you know, I used to coach, as you know, and I'd coach 4 quarterbacks. And when I look every weekend, when I call a game, I'm like, I get to coach over 1 million. Like, how cool is that? And that's what I think my responsibility is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool that you like commentary, and then you get coaching, and then you play, like you know it all. Your motto is how great is ball? What makes football so great?
Man, you know, we came up with that motto. I was doing a podcast probably 9 years ago. Somebody asked me a question about what do you think about the game this weekend? And I was like, yo, man, how great is ball? It just came out of me. And to me, what makes it great is everything. You know, there's so many things that make ball great, right? I think about when I go to a high school game like you do, and I watch your Instagram feed, and you walk up to the 50 a lot on the weekends, and I could smell the pizza, right? I could see the lines being painted 3 hours before the game. You know, I could see the lights being on and off, right? Just the hope that the game provides. And then as you grow in the level of competition, college to the NFL, et cetera, the competition just continues to get that much more intense. And I think there's joy in that. You know, a lot of times I think people can look at competing or look at the quarterbacks you're around, who's the best one, or one guy's competing against another guy for their specific job. And I don't look at it like that. I think there's joy in competing. Let me bring the best out of you, Cade, and you bring the best out of me. And I hope when you see quarterbacks, they're teaching each other. And I think that's the beautiful part of the game. And then the last thing is that it's connective, right? I mean, football is now in over 70 countries. It's the fastest growing sport in Brazil. I mean, it's not just in America, it's everywhere. So I love that about this. And I believe we all speak ball. And for you and me, let's just say you got something you're going through, right? You just came back from going to the hospital. I don't know what you were feeling, but I bet you and your dad could just have a catch in the backyard and you can kind of talk through your feelings. And that's what I did in my life. I talked through my feelings by playing catch, by shooting baskets. That's why I think ball, it's therapy, right? It's play therapy a lot to me. And I think for anybody who gets to be around it.
Yeah. Like like when I like went out to Buffalo and stuff, like people like I feel like when they like see like people like other like Sam and Josh Allen, they like kind of like, you don't get like they like train together, like they're buddies. Like they don't like, I don't see each other as like rivalry. Like they do, but they don't. You know, like they see each other as like buddies and they train together on like in the off season and stuff. Like they're just like buddies.
That's a good point. It's a good point. Think about this. Like, let's just say you and me were on two different teams, right? And we're playing like Sam and Josh. They're in the same division, I think, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, we want our respective teams to win, but what if you throw a sweet touchdown pass? I would be on the sideline being like, whoa, awesome. All right, now my turn. And then I go throw one. You're like, okay, I see you, Yogi. I'm going to go one up you. And I think that's the beauty of competing versus thinking the other way. Oh, I got to go beat him. I hope he throws an interception. I hope you play your best. And I hope I play my best. I hope I one up you, but I hope it's amazing. It's an amazing environment. And that to me is something very few competitors can get to. But when you do, that's when you maximize who you are because you're playing really free.
Yeah. Yeah. I there's like, I love like and like me and like my like cousin, like we like sometimes like we play like catch and stuff, but like sometimes like I like sometimes like he's a really good receiver, but he can also like really throw the ball. So like I sometimes like go out for a pass and like I like try to be like a little bit like better at catching and stuff. It's like it's fun like to like compete with people like you like really like know and stuff. You've been with the Elite 11 a while now. Tell us about the Elite 11 and how it connects with like NEGU.
Yeah, it's my 12th year. We just finished Elite 11, which is crazy. I can remember when I was a coach or when I was coaching at USC and Elite 11 was happening. And then my first year was 2009 when Jake Heaps won the MVP. Jake Heaps is now a coach with the Elite 11. So he went through his high school career, college, professional, and now he's on the staff. So I think I've seen a lot of Elite 11. The one constant has always been the quarterbacks have stood for more than just throwing dimes down the sideline, right? I've seen Teddy Bridgewater. I've seen everybody that's come through. The thing that's unique is that we never really had somewhere to put that energy of, you know what, I stand for something bigger than just the game. You knew it because you just conversed. And that's a lot of times the people at that position. And then all of a sudden, Jordan Palmer connected us with NEGU. And I can remember, Cade, the day you showed up, man. And again, this is my 12th year of Elite 11. Elite 11 just finished its 22nd year. We had guest speakers every year. We never had a standing ovation until you showed up. And when you told your story, and I still have chills, I remember in the Bo Jackson building, got introduced. Erik was there. Your dad was there. Nobody knew you. We heard like the lore of your story. We knew a little bit of what NEGU was about. And after we heard Erik and the history of what NEGU is about and the mission behind his daughter and the mission behind everybody there, then we heard you. And I get chills now just thinking about that. And then we got to meet young boys and girls competing against cancer, these amazing people. And then we got to wear it and rock it. And then we got to see the long tail because it didn't just happen at Elite 11 and be in that bubble for a couple days wherever the camp was every summer. It got to live on the cover of Madden, on the cover of Sports Illustrated, game day. As I'm calling games, I'm seeing guys throw touchdowns, and then I see on their hand the NEGU wristband. It began to take a life of its own for all the right reasons. So the relationship, I think, while beautiful, is really just getting going because now we see so many athletes saying, you know what? I want to do my part, and it's my responsibility to use my platform to bring awareness to something that is, kids, courageous kids competing against cancer. And you're one of them, man. So while you love being around the quarterbacks, we tell you every year, we love being around you. And the same goes for Ryan Berg and anybody else that we get to be around because of the power of NEGU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I remember like me and my dad, like when we like know somebody that's like that like it's like in college and stuff, like in college or even in the NFL, like we like, and if they have a NEGU wristband, we like we search for like on their wrist, because we like, and then we see like we like pause the TV and we like take pictures of it, because like it's really cool to like see that like it means something to the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I can remember I called a Stanford game against UCLA, and I remember players coming to find you on the sideline in pregame being like, hey, what's up, Cade? What's happening? I know I work at the Pac-12 networks, and your story, we got to tell just a little bit of what you and Erik and NEGU were doing. And now when we call a UCLA game, our production meetings begin with like, hey, is Cade going to come? Because we want to tell the story and talk about it, because Dorian's wearing the wristband, Dorian Thompson Robinson, or KJ Costello, or whoever is their opponent. So it's been beautiful to watch you from the day Jim Mora brought you into his program to, of course, now as you just keep getting older before our eyes.
Yeah, I still remember like that first like day that we were at the practice, like my first practice. Like we thought, like my dad thought like we didn't know that the whole practice was like gonna be like I was gonna be like in the practice. But then like my dad was like thinking like we were like gonna say hi and then like watch the practice, and that was we were like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And then we were like, then when the players were coming out, the entire like team like knew my name and stuff, and they were like, the entire practice was about me and stuff. And I remember I scored I think I scored a touchdown that day, and it was like the best day ever.
Yeah. It's good, man. There's a power of play, and now because as you get older, you got to keep passing that on now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got to keep bringing people with you and keep showing them that sport can inspire and impact.
Yeah. You wear your NEGU wristband. I saw you even wore it in your wedding. You wore when I look at my NEGU wristband, it inspires me to work harder in my therapies and in school. Why do you wear yours?
Yeah, that's a great question. I wear mine for a few reasons. One is that I think that if you believe in something, you shouldn't be afraid to talk about it. And I know sometimes, one might argue, well, hey, stand for what you stand for, but you don't always need to project how you feel. And I disagree with that. I think that we need to talk about how we feel and what we stand for. And I just believe that. So I believe in NEGU, right? I believe in trying to support kids and families who are competing against cancer. But it also inspires me to never, ever give up. I grew up when I was your age. I had a sign next to my bed that now is all tattered and worn, but it's still in my house in Pennsylvania, where it said, hard work always pays off and good things always happen to good people. Well, that's kind of like the underlying philosophy of my life. And when I look at this wristband, I think of that. When you wake up in the morning and you do your training session, your mom told us about that when we interviewed her. Yeah, you didn't give up, right? Hard work always pays off. And look where you are now, right? So I use it to inspire myself. And then the third one is that, I have a son now named Zane, and we've got a baby. I mean, he might come in like 20 seconds. I might have to bail this interview. So I think of my kids, and they know about you, and they know about NEGU, and they know about Courageous Kids, and they need to. And I think to them when I walk through the children's hospital about, okay, what kind of parent would I be? I read your dad's book that he wrote. It was beautiful, right? And all the work that NEGU does. Say, you know what? Like, I got to learn to make sure that I know how to show up for my kids, whether they have cancer or not. And I take a lot away from NEGU. I probably take way more than I give. So it's a beautiful reminder for me in my life to be very blunt. And I love wearing it. And I'm very specific. I'm not one of those guys that wears 30 wristbands. I wear that, and my word of the year. Every year I pick a word. And this year's word is elevate. I want to elevate every experience I'm in, including the one with NEGU.
Yeah, I like wear like when I wear my NEGU wristband, like it feels like I always like when I'm going through like hard times, like I always look at it and like I can do this. And then it's like, and I agree, like there's like some like football players, like they like a lot of them, like they all have like they have like 50 wristbands on their arm, like always, like a lot of receivers do and stuff. And it's like if like it's one of them, like that's awesome. But like when it's like just like Patrick Mahomes, like he has 2 on each wristband, like he has 4 wristbands on 2 on each hand, and it's for kids. He did like he did this like a paper on it, and it was like based on it was like one of them is for NEGU, and it was like 3 other kids that he got to know through his college career, and like it's like each wristband has like a story to tell, and like I really like in NEGU it has like one of them it has a big story.
That's really important to observe, Cade, because I think that everything that you put on your body has a story to tell, right? Like when you choose your shirt, it might be subconsciously, but you chose it for a reason today, right? Or when you put your socks on inside out, you did it for a reason. So my point is to pay attention to your intention, even as you move forward, right? Why did you do that? There's always a reason. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world, but maybe it will be. And I always think that that's something to pay attention to. So the fact that you're observing that now is really, really impressive.
What advice would you give me as a like a reporter?
Yeah, well, number 1, come work beside me, okay? Eventually take my job, but let me retire, okay? I think that the biggest thing for any journalist is that you've got to be really curious. You know, if you're asked to go report on something that you don't have any interest in, the viewer is going to tell, right? You may not have to love it with all your heart, but you need to be curious about it, right? My dad used to always say, I was your age and I was failing science class, and I came home and my mom was really mad. In fact, she bought me a t-shirt that said, I love science. I was failing it so brutally. And my dad came home and he walked upstairs, and we have similar personalities. He's kind of like your dad and Eric, very calm. And he goes, hey, what's up with you failing class? I was like, I don't care about trees and gymnosperms. And it was all this stuff like earth science. And he goes, hey, son, knowledge is no burden to carry. And ever since he hit me with that, I've realized that like, it's not going to hurt me to learn anything new. So as a reporter, it's never going to hurt you to be curious about something maybe you didn't think you had an interest in. Find something about the subject that interests you and pull on that string as hard and as long as you can. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to listen like your life depends on it. A lot of times reporters or commentators want to talk, and you can tell when you watch games. There's a phrase that I learned a long time ago from ESPN when I was working there, where they said likability is a big deal. And I think likability is a huge deal. And I could watch TV and be like, I don't like that guy. I really like that guy. And I don't know him. But to me, it's all about how they listen and how they respect the people they're talking to, or they respect the game that they're covering. And if the minute you act like you're smarter than the game or bigger than the game, you ain't for me, man. So I would say those are the 3 things that I would focus on right now: is fall in love and find a curiosity about everything you do. Listen like your life depends on it. And then when you speak or you write, speak in your voice. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be Jordan. Don't try to be Mark Sanchez. Don't try to be any other commentator. Just be you. And that's hard. That's one of the hardest parts. I'm going to be Kirk Herbstreit, I used to always say. And now, you know, I did that for 2 years and I learned that I wasn't him. So now I just got to be me. And some people like it, some people don't, but at least I sleep really, really well at night because I'm comfortable in that voice.
Yeah, Jordan Palmer, like one time he told us, like I was at a QB summit, and like it was like right when Joe Burrow like won the national championship, and he said he asked him like, why do you want to like get your master's, like you are so good at football, like why do you want to do that? And like he said his Joe Burrow's answer was, why not? Like you like what you said, like it won't hurt to have knowledge, like you like it'll only like help you in the long run. So like always like if you have a chance to get do something like that will help you in school, like always do it.
Yeah, I mean, you're either competing or you're not, right? I mean, think of the wristband that we talked about, right? You're either competing or you're not. So you're either competing to learn or you're not. And I think it's okay to have days off, but I do think that you get to decide, do I want to play a video game? Do I want to learn something? And that's a conscious decision that you get to make. And there's nothing wrong with doing the video game, but if you do that 7 days in a row, you're not competing, right? If you state that you're a competitor and you want to feed your life with knowledge.
Yeah. I have some fun questions now. What time you set your alarm?
I don't set an alarm anymore. And you'll learn that one day, if you have kids, you won't need to ever set an alarm because you're very rarely going to wake up before them.
So true.
Yeah. My dad, I remember when I was little, when I was in elementary school, I always I got up so early, and now my dad now I got him into that rhythm, so now he always wakes up at 7 every day.
That's cool. Early bird gets the worm.
What's your favorite football movie?
Definitely not Rudy. I'll tell you that. People used to say, oh yeah, your story's like Rudy, because I was a walk-on who got a scholarship, and I was like, Rudy wasn't good. I don't want to ever be compared to Rudy. So it's not that. I would probably go with, Remember the Titans is beautiful. The program is like the best college football movie of all time. I watch it every single weekend when I was in high school, again in college, and I make my wife watch it before every football season. But I love documentaries, so I probably even go beyond football and American football, but I would go with the Two Escobars, which is about soccer, but they call it football in South America. 2.5 hours is the best documentary I've ever seen. So I probably play in one of those three worlds.
Yeah, I like base. I watched a baseball documentary. It was called Fastball. It was based on who's the fastest pitcher of all time, and it's really interesting to watch. It was based on how good are the radar guns then and how good are they now, and what would it be clocked at then, how fast would it be now and stuff. Is really interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. Who do you think is gonna win the Pac-12?
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'll answer it. But all I hope right now is, here we are, July 7th. I just hope we have a Pac-12. I just hope we have a season. I hope college football happens. With that being said, I look at Oregon as an elite defense and probably the elite program in the conference right now. But I look at SC, and I think they have the best defense right now in the Pac-12. Their D-line, their linebacking core, their secondary, they are loaded. But I think you got to go back to kind of what you've seen. You got to go back to culture. And I look at the way the schedule is set up now. If all things are equal, I'd like to see Oregon and SC play in the title. And then, man, that would be fun. And then it would be, can SC handle the stage, right? They seem to have gotten some swag back. They didn't have spring football, though. They got a new D coordinator. Oregon has swag. They're bringing in a new offensive coordinator, a guy named Joe Moorhead, who he coached me at Pitt 20 years ago, which says something for both of us. So if I had to get off the fence and pick one, I'd pick Oregon to repeat right now, but I think you can flip a coin between those two teams. So those are the two top ones, and Arizona State would be my sleeper in the Pac-12 this year.
Yeah, I just hope there. Yeah, like what you said. I just hope there is a pack. I just want to I told my there's no sports on, so I would just watch any sport right now. I don't care if it's baseball, football, hockey. I don't care.
Amen. Me too.
Yeah. Jessie really loved Would You Rather, so we're gonna have a couple of those.
Amazing.
Would you rather you play really well but your team loses, or you play really bad but your team wins?
Oh, that's easy. I'd rather play really bad and my team win. And I would bet, and we'd have to ask Eric this, but I bet Jessie seemed as though she was always learning from her experiences. Even if they weren't perfect for her as an individual, she always would learn from the group. And that's what I think is beautiful about NEGU, is that everybody competing against cancer isn't kicking its butt, but we're all learning from the entirety of the experience. So that's what I would choose, but I would hope that I didn't play bad 2 games in a row. Just one.
Yeah, I told my dad, like, he asked me that, and I'm like, it was like, it's like, I told my dad, like, that's like a really, like, that's really asking, like, who you are as a person. Like, if you really, like, care about you, or what, if you care about, like, the team and stuff. Would you rather call a game in the in freezing cold, or call a game in the or when it's really hot?
Ooh, that's good. What's the booth like? Is the booth open or closed?
Close.
Oh, all right. If it's closed, I'll go definitely cold. But even if it's open, I'd probably go cold. Like I'm old school. I like to feel the elements. It's like you go to Colorado, it's wide open and it's freezing. Like if you show up with more than one piece of paper, you're in trouble because it's going to be flying everywhere anyway. So I'd probably go with cold, but I've been in some cold ones where literally my teeth are chattering as I'm calling the game. So you got to be ready. Like you got to have warm water next to you to put it next to your heart to warm up your body. I'm always like running and jumping during the broadcast anyway. You got to do it even more. You got to wear the right socks. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I'd rather like 20 degrees than 120 degrees every day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, I told him, like, I would, like, it depends, like, what, like, I told my dad, and my dad, me and my dad, like, asked that question a lot, like, would you rather play in a game that's hot or cold? And I would, like, rather, like, hot, like, it just, like, it's, like, uncomfortable, but, like, if it's, like, really, really cold, like, it's, like, it hurts, though. Like, it hurts, too.
Totally.
Like, it hurts, like, it's just, like, but, like, hot, like, I can, like, deal with, like, it being, like, hot. Like, you can, like, put, like, water, like, cold water on you or stuff. Like, there's, like, ways to get cold.
Totally. I played in a game at Virginia Tech. You find it on YouTube. It was a game that Larry Fitzgerald went crazy in his sophomore year. And it was so cold, and I was returning punts, which is like the worst thing to do in the cold. And on the road in front of like 100,000 people, and they all have these like turkey callers in the stands. So it's like the most annoying sound you've ever heard. And it's so cold, like you almost didn't want to play. So I think I'm with you. As a player, the hotter the better, because I would have, and I'm arrogant here, I'd be like, I trained so hard, it doesn't matter. I can go all day, bro. I'm going to run right through you.
Yeah.
Broadcaster, no way.
My uncle, he was a kicker at Wisconsin. And, like, in Wisconsin, it's really, really cold there. A lot of, like, most of the, like, year. So, and he told, like, he, like, said, like, he said, like, they had, like, heaters for his legs and stuff. And he said, but I think he said, like, he, like, if you, like, move, like, your legs, it, like, the heaters, like, start over. They have to, like, reheat. Like, it's so, and I'm like, so that's, like, I feel like that would be, like a pain to, like, not move. Because, like, in, like, a kicker, like, that's a big responsibility. Like, you don't know, like, if you're going to hit, like, a game winner, and you have to get, like, your feet has to be, like, warm and stuff. So it's, like, yeah. But.
Totally. And the ball's frozen.
Yeah. And
that's hard, too.
Yeah.
Got any more, Cater?
No, I just want to say thank you for all you do with NEGU, and thank you for welcome me when I go to the Elite 11. Hey
man, anytime, the door's open. We now need you to come over and hang out, because I got a 5-year-old that wants to play catch in the backyard, and I'm gonna have a newborn that's gonna need to learn about the game. So I'm counting on you to teach him some things, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, Yogi, on behalf of Cade and obviously our family and foundation, thank you again for everything you do. You are such an amazing man, human being, person. Your spirit is always one of love and concern. And you've shown it, from the moment we first met you to the time that you and I sat on a bus at a Super Bowl, having just conversation about life and about kids fighting cancer. I love your heart. And we wish you nothing but the greatest success. Obviously, stay safe. Can't wait to see you holding 2 kids very soon, and praying for you all and stuff. But just thank you again for everything you do for kids fighting cancer. We're grateful that you're in our lives.
Oh, well, I gotta tell this last story because last night I'm laying in bed with Zane, our son, and he's got a bookcase like many kids do. And you get trophies when you like play soccer. Everybody gets it. And he's got 2 soccer trophies. And then I gave him my Jessie award that you awarded me last year at the Elite 11 in Dallas. And he looks at him and he goes, "Hey, you see these 2?" And he holds up the soccer trophy. He goes, "Everybody gets these. You just get it for playing." He goes, "But this one, this is cool, Dad." And we talked about Courageous Kids. And we talked about NEGU. And it was really cool because he doesn't know, but he was asleep when I came home from Dallas that year. And I put it in his room because, you know what, I want him just to see it every day. I don't need this in my office, in my background. I want my kid to see it. And it just hit me that we had that conversation last night, not in anticipation of today, but the universe works in amazing ways. And
Absolutely.
so you're impacting my family on a soul level every day, subconsciously. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Cade, thanks again, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.